Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a couple of weeks of a hiatus with TRC Uncensored. Hope you're all having a great night. Great seeing you all. Hey, Will, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How is everybody tonight?
Doing
Wonderful.
good, doing
I'm
good.
alive.
Good. So, it
Yeah.
definitely it feels like it's been like several months since we were on, but it's only been a couple weeks. But I'll tell you, a lot has happened in the past couple weeks. So, real quick, just want to throw a shout out there, kind of an in memoriam for Mongo, Steve Mongo McMichael, also known as Mongo McNuggets, is what Bobby the Brain Heenan used to call him. I can't think of much worse of a past 5 years than that young man had, and so definitely God bless Mongo. Passed away a couple weeks ago, and then also to Sabu. Um, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not one of those fair weather fans. I wasn't a Sabu fan when he was alive. I feel terrible that he passed away so young. But I mean, I think a lot of it was his lifestyle that contributed, obviously. But either way, definitely rest in peace. Bless the guy. He lost his partner, his spouse, a few years ago too, about 4 or 5 years ago. And I think anytime you're really, really close with a spouse, it's really hard to keep going. And I don't know that that was a contributing factor, but I can't imagine very many people want to live on after they lose somebody that they're so close to. So, respectfully, I would say, definitely God bless the guy and may he rest in peace. So, but now that we got that stuff kind of covered and out of the way and we're moving forward, I want to talk about, up next week, big trip coming up, Dallas.
Can't
Got
wait.
Dallas coming up. We've got Mr. T, John Cena, and so many others that we're super excited to see. And then, of course, getting together with everybody. And I know there's going to be several people that we're friends with, several members of the group, and different things. So, really looking forward to that as well. So, but with no further ado, back to our normal scheduled program. Basically, Ken, what's our first roundtable?
Well, we're just, I want to go around and get everybody's opinions either on Sabu or the passing of Sabu and Mongo.
Okay.
So I'll start with you, Roger. You have anything that you want to add?
I'm kind of with Will. I was a fan, but not a huge fan of Sabu. And just hearing the different stories from the different shows that he would show up to bad or miss, I believe as well that it's probably contributed to his lifestyle a little bit. As far as Mongo McMichael, I remember watching him as a kid with the Bears. Um, and I watched him a little bit on wrestling. Uh, not a lot, but I did get to watch him a little bit, and it's sad when he was in the condition he was in, but it's also a good time now that he's no longer in pain.
Right.
So those are my two thoughts on it.
That's what
Yeah,
I've told.
it's almost hard to like feel bad about his passing because
Right.
literally like he escaped hell on earth basically if you think about it,
Yeah,
Yeah, Will took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say. Is he to me, and I've dealt with ALS before. He's been gone for years. He hasn't been living. So that was probably the best thing for him. Calvin, I've got a picture I'm going to share for
No,
you. So give me a second.
Calvin Mania running wild, brother.
always.
You see it?
Yeah.
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 So a friend of mine, indie wrestler, shout out to him, Johnny Romano. He sent me this. He was actually put through a piece. Well, he got this piece of table from a table that he was put through by Sabu. Um, a little story on it. He uh he was the only one in the locker room that volunteered to be put through the table. After it
Oh
was all
wow,
said and done, he got that little piece of table signed by Sabu and Genie, and now it hangs on his wall.
Nice. Very
that's an
cool.
awesome piece of memorabilia right there.
You talk about a personal connection. That is very much a personal connection.
Yeah.
All right,
Can't get
appreciate
much
that.
personal than that.
Ben, you have anything you want to share about either or?
Yeah. I really, like I said, as for uh, like their careers, like I said, they were champions. I enjoyed Mongo on the commentary early days of Nitro. I
And
also
the
like the
Nuggets.
matches that he had with Jeff Jarrett uh, there, with Deborah and his wife, and during that time, enjoyed those. Sabu, of course, had some wild hardcore matches all
Man.
over. Uh, I got to meet him. We were one of the last few to do the signing with him. Uh, and saw him up in Ashland, Kentucky. And every time I've seen him, like I said, great dude. Like I said, would sit there and talk. And I can remember I talked to him, and he was like, very appreciative of the fans. That's what he kept telling me. Like I said, I'm glad that I got sit there. He'd sit there and just sit there and talk to me, and that's what I enjoy about these shows. You sit down with somebody and just get a chance to see them as a person, not as just the wrestler or a talent. They're gonna be missed. Uh, like I said, I enjoyed them, but that's all I have.
All right, Shane, you got anything, brother?
Not much. I don't really remember Mongo all that much, to be honest. Sabu, I didn't really watch when he was in WWF or ECW. I have seen a lot of his matches, and he's talented. I think he takes a lot of abuse, and that's about all I got to say.
All right, Will, you need to add anything else, or you good?
Yeah, I wanted to do an honorable mention for a lot of us. A lot of us are '80s kids, and Norm from Cheers passed away too. And
Yes.
man, I tell you what, that really sucked to see that. It really hurt. Cheers is one of those shows where, as kids, we probably shouldn't have been watching it in the first place because it really wasn't meant for children. But Norm coming in and just a normal guy sitting down having his beer, and if you ever watched Cheers, or if you ever have gone back and watched it as an adult, watched the reruns, that the character was just such a normal, everyday guy. And from what I understand and things that I've seen and read over the years about the cast, Norm was a very sentimental guy, and he didn't even want to participate in the final episodes of Cheers because he didn't want to personally see it be over. So, very sentimental guy. From all accounts, great person, great worker. He was in a lot of movies too. He was also a voice actor as well. So there's another guy that'll definitely be missed. So really sorry to see that happen. And a lot of our '80s heroes. To me, the '80s had the best movies, and they had a lot of great television shows too. So did the '90s as well. So definitely sorry to see that.
All right. In honor of him, I got to scream out, Norm.
Yep. As he would enter the bar, as he would
Right.
enter the Cheers bar, they would all scream Norm. So
Hey,
super
guys, sorry
excited.
I'm late. Norm.
Hmm.
All right, King
Exactly.
P, you got any thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I remember Mongo when I was younger.
I did
WCW.
that. Hey, that was awesome.
Yeah. I remember Mongo, and my dad being hyped because he was an NFL player, and so it just kind of like, I don't know, brought something out in him. So I do remember him a lot. It was crazy to see the impact that his health had on his physical features and stuff. So that was a little wild. Sabu, though, on the other hand, he was one of my favorite wrestlers, to be honest. I mean, high flying, never a dull match, insane, just real crazy, innovative. So it's definitely sad to see him go for me.
All right, welcome in, Brian. Good to have you, buddy.
What up?
Hey, you got any?
What's up, man?
You want to share anything?
Back when Steve Mongo McMichael wrestled, I wasn't really a WCW fan, but I'm just glad that he's at peace now. I'm glad he got into the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame, and glad he's not in pain anymore. And as far as Sabu goes, the guy was like everyone else said. He was crazy in the ring, and I know he lived like a fun life, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm glad both those guys are at peace and they're in a better place. And yeah.
All right. Great opinion, guys. I appreciate everybody's opinion. That's why we're here, to get different opinions. So we're going to go to our roundtable question, and that is, do you think was the worst WrestleMania? So what do you think was the worst WrestleMania? And I've thought about this because mine was between 9 and 7, so I may have to go with 7.
Oh my God.
I liked 9, but I like 9 better than 7, so I have to go with 7. Just because I just didn't think the card. I've looked all the way through the cards, and I think that was the less. I didn't really care for that Diesel Shawn match. I thought they focused too much on Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy. So y'all can yell at me if you want.
You're good. It's all about opinion.
You know, as in the main event, that was Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam. It delivered as good as it could. I just thought that they could have had, back then you weren't used to that kind of main event. You always knew that in the main event of WrestleMania that you were going to have a champion celebrating at the end.
So just for correction, you're referring to WrestleMania 11, not 7.
11, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. That's a big difference there.
Sorry about that. I get my numbers mixed up. You guys got to forgive me.
Good job, William.
Thank you.
The historian asked them. But yeah, that's the one, 11. That 9 was, not the best, because I wasn't, even though, Calvin will probably yell at me. I mean, I'm a Hogan fan, but I didn't like the ending at all. Not one bit. So that's where it would fall into me. But
the ending of 9 would have been okay if Hogan had carried the belt, gone on to King of the Ring, body slammed Yokozuna at King of the Ring, beat him, and then went on to SummerSlam to face Brett, and it was Brett versus Hogan at SummerSlam. That would have been an okay ending. Like, it would have made sense for all that to happen at 9. Yeah. But the way they did it was kind of weird, I mean,
it was just no story, and it ended with Harvey Wippleman taking a picture in a flaming camera. That was it.
Yeah, it kind of made no sense. And then he was gone, and then it was just over. He left and was gone, never to be seen again until 2002, when he came back with the NWO,
right,
in WWE. So I kind of agree with that, but I don't know. 9 is still one of my favorites. There was a lot of good action in that one, but it is what it is. The ending, was a little weird.
Okay,
9 was one of my favorites. Is my favorite.
Yeah. The card was really good.
Yeah, it's just the ending just always gets me, because it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
But my answer is 11. So go ahead, Roger.
I don't really have one.
Roger?
Now, granted, you have cards that are in. Oh, my son's in here. Ain't that nice?
What's up? What's up, Roger's son? Welcome in.
What's up,
Hey, buddy? How you doing? Welcome.
Mine. You have cards or matches in every WrestleMania, every PLE. Let's be honest, that are your take a dump matches, or matches that you just don't really think added up, or did themselves justice. And I find that in every WrestleMania or every PLE, but I don't think specifically that I can say one specific WrestleMania for me wasn't that good.
Okay.
I mean, because you're gonna have banger matches, and you're gonna have your matches that aren't that good. So for me, I don't have an actual answer for that. I can say there are certain matches in WrestleManias that I did not agree with, or felt didn't live up to their hype. But for me, I couldn't figure out a certain WrestleMania for myself.
Okay.
That's fine. Calvin?
So I'm going to say WrestleMania 9, not because of Hogan and Bret Hart, whatever. That's part of it. But because the Undertaker's streak, that was probably one of the worst matches of his streak against Giant Gonzalez.
Good evening, Justin. Okay.
What's up, Justin?
All right, Ben.
Okay.
All right, mine. I had to look at them, and mine is WrestleMania 27. And You have The Miz beating John Cena, which still blows my mind. Then another one that blows my mind is me and Kev can attest to this. Around here, who's the man, who's our Hogan, is Jerry King Lawler. To get beat by Michael fucking Cole? Are you kidding me? On an announcer, get beaten Jerry Lawler. I know they did all those matches in the past that where these celebrities or these little oddball going to have a win. Like I said, for real, I mean that's to me. I still don't agree with that one
for me.
Yeah, and then Michael Cole looked awful. And then as for the only thing on that card that was somewhat decent was the Triple H Undertaker match. But you had Alberto Del Rio getting beat by Edge. You had Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan in like 4 minutes. They had a Royal Rumble. Then Rey Mysterio losing to Cody. Like I said, and then probably a decent one would have been Orton and CM Punk. Other than that, the whole WrestleMania was terrible.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, welcome in, Miss Amanda. Shane.
I'm kind of like there with Roger. I don't really have one.
Okay.
There's certain ones that have had better matches than others. I know WrestleMania 9 that gets critiqued a lot, because of the Bret Hart and Hogan and the Undertaker and Gonzalez match. I've seen that. But yeah, I don't necessarily have one. I enjoy watching them.
All right. Not a
Whether
problem.
they suck or not, I still watch it.
Gotcha, Mr. OTC.
The one that really always sticks out to me is the one that started this 2-day WrestleMania garbage. And that to me is 36. 36 was just so awful. I get it. It was COVID time. They couldn't have an arena. They couldn't have a stadium. And they couldn't have fans there. But 36 is probably the only WrestleMania that I've never, ever gone back and watched again. And I would say, I've seen that Cena Bray Wyatt episode, which was part of 36 over and over. And I've seen the Undertaker AJ thing a few times, but I've never gone back and watched all of 36 ever. To me, they started that 2-night WrestleMania deal, which was just terrible. It was a bad idea. And I still don't like it to this day. I get why they do it. I mean, they double their intake. They double their financial income on those days. But I don't get it. But that, to me, was the worst. And I think any of the WrestleManias that have been mentioned before 36 have been a world better than 36 was. So that's my opinion.
Cool deal. I want to add in that Colton Elkins says the WrestleMania where Seth Rollins got RKO'd midair was legendary. And I know what match he's talking about. And it was legendary.
Yep, 31. WrestleMania 31.
So, King Phil.
So I'm like Roger. I don't really have a worst one. I went through and watched a few of them over the last couple of days, just trying to find something I didn't like, just nitpicking really. And I came up with 41. I mean, it was cool. Maybe it's just because it's just so fresh. I just didn't really like a lot of the card. Besides the triple threat, none of it really stuck with me. I mean, it was cool. It was good. It's good to watch. I've watched it twice even, but it's still just, if I have to pick a worst one, it's definitely 41.
All right. Appreciate you, Brian.
All right. So I'm with William, WrestleMania 36. What's the one thing every WrestleMania has?
Lame.
A loud crowd and everything.
Right.
Dude, that WrestleMania, I mean, literally, it was not entertaining at all. I mean, hell, the question this morning was what? What if Drew McIntyre beat Brock Lesnar in front of a live crowd? Do you think that would have changed anything? Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think it would.
I don't
think it would.
But I think it would have. I think it would have been a bigger spectacle if there was a live crowd, obviously. So that's the only reason I didn't like the WrestleMania. It's just because there was no live crowd. It was just, I don't know. It just didn't. It seemed off.
No, I understand.
Oh yeah.
I just kind of gave it a leeway for that reason.
And one other thing, for those guys in this thing that say they don't have a least favorite WrestleMania, y'all don't understand the assignment.
You got called out.
That's a cop-out answer. It's like saying, who's your favorite kid? All of them are. Come on, man.
You're my least favorite
That
kid,
has
Brian.
no comparison at all.
Damn, Brian.
I fucking love you guys.
All right, guys, all great answers. You know, love all different opinions. That's why we do this. So our main topic and the reason we're here today is the rest of the show is going to be show and tell.
Yes.
So, and then we're going to explain our items and we're going to talk about them. And since I'm in control of the little buttons, I'm going to go first.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice.
So there's some specific questions with it, right? Like there were some questions with it.
Yep.
Like one of them was
questions. Let me pull that up.
what made you start collecting and what's your favorite thing to collect and all that, right?
Yeah, so I'll start with that. What started me collecting was I've been a fan all of my life, and what really started my very first thing in my collection is I found a figure of Kurt Angle with the ringside. I don't have the picture of it, but I still have the figure. It was the one where you press the button on the boombox and it played his theme music because I was a fan of Kurt Angle.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy shit, these are cool as hell. So that's what got me collecting figures was just during the Attitude Era or whatever, they started coming out with awesome figures that I just couldn't not stop. And then I didn't do autos until I got with TRC and started getting some fire with that. So that's what got me into autos. Let me see what so my favorite thing to collect now is rare. I go rare if I can, but I also love to collect anybody that I love to watch. But my favorite thing is probably signed figures at the moment. And well, that's kind of going away. I'll have to do half signed 50-50 signed figures and signed posters.
All right.
Posters is really starting to take over, but it's still some signed figures. So, and then it's got some examples. So I'm going to show some examples. Let me get my little thing set up here.
That's what she said.
Little thing. Yeah, I knew somebody was going to say that.
That's exactly what she said. Let me get my
Let me
little
get my
thing.
big
So.
thing. Okay, so there's
Let
that.
me-
So
Let me get this little thing out.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
can y'all see?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I also love pops. This is Mr. John Cena, and this guy is going to be flying with me next Thursday,
Hell yeah.
and he is going to be signed in TRC Wise Man Orange.
Hell yeah.
Hey Kev, let me be the asshole.
Florida Gator orange.
Hell
Kev,
no,
let me
it's
be,
Wise Man Orange, damn it.
Kev, let me be the asshole in the room. Wait, is that an empty box? I don't see anything.
Oh shit! I figured that. I didn't figure that'd come from you, but
I don't see anything. I can't see him.
so it's got the orange and green. I have a lot of stuff in TRC orange, Wise Man orange. It's TRC orange, same damn thing. So I just wanted to show that first, because next time I show it, it's going to have an auto on the front.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
This right here is currently one of my Bret Hart autos.
God, I have one of those too.
Yep.
I have that
absolutely
same
love
one.
this. And I'm going to tell you why I really love this, because a few weeks ago, we had an awesome TRC live on Tuesday night with Deal or No Deal, where everybody named their prices. And it just seemed like nobody was really going. And once I bid on this, it got the whole room going, and we had a fantastic night. So this actually means a lot to me because I got the offer accepted. I got it for a hell of a price. And so that's why I wanted to include this in here, why it means so much to me, because that was a great night, a great TRC live, and it got things rolling.
Yeah, you and Roger, I think too, right? Roger was
Right.
another one that threw an offer out real quick, and we got everything going. But not only that, man, one of the most iconic moments ever in
Oh,
wrestling.
look
right
at
there.
it. I mean, it's awesome.
That's a Hall of Fame match right there.
Literally.
Yeah.
I love this one because I just love the way it come out in that yellow.
Yep.
I wanted to pick out a great auto that I had. Me and Ben went to meet Eric Bischoff in Ashland, Kentucky. He was awesome. a great guy. Just my phone went off in mid meeting him, and I had the LA Night ringtone, and he started dancing to it, didn't he, Ben? It was
Yes, he
hilarious.
did.
So I really love this figure. I love the way it come out, and he was great. So that's why I wanted to show this one.
Nice.
This one right here, Will can tell you.
Oh,
I struggled with getting it signed. I blame Brian Howarth for me getting it signed, but after
Me
looking
too.
at it, I'm glad I did.
You're welcome.
Me too.
But this is a very rare magazine. We only know of 3 out there, and we have 2 of them. TRC has 2 of them.
Well, and real
Yep.
quick, Kev.
I got one of them.
Oh, Anna William. How many of those are signed, you think?
Do you have one of these?
I think there's one.
I do.
That one right there.
But mine's in light blue. Yours is that TRC
No.
dark.
No, this is the
No.
this ain't the magazine.
That's the program from '95.
Oh shit! Never mind. I got the magazine. My bad.
Damn
It's all
it.
good, man.
Yeah, it's fine. You tried to fit in. It's all cool.
Try to up.
But
try
look
to
at that
fit in
TRC
there, Ben.
blue.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
And in my opinion, and in Brian's opinion, and I would assume Kev's opinion, there's only one of these signed anywhere in the
Yep.
world, and it's right there.
Right.
Right here in TRC, baby.
Right
Yeah.
there, and that's why Brian. That's why I listened to Brian. Damn it! But no, I think it turned out great. Look at it; it's awesome. So,
Yeah,
and this
it
is
is.
one of my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
TRC orange, whatever Wise Man orange, whatever you want to call it. I think this
That's
turned
beautiful.
out perfect.
That looks good.
Yep.
It's just absolutely beautiful.
It is.
I've seen it in others. I mean, it looks good in TRC blue, but just I didn't really know that it would turn out that great until
I would have had one too, Kev, but I was too cheap to buy the figure. It was so much money.
Right.
I cheaped out on it. We were in Charlotte. I remember it.
We
We were
were.
in Charlotte, and I was too cheap to buy one of those, and I regret it, man. I love that figure.
Is that new one out yet? I want it.
Not yet.
The
Okay.
Monday Night Wars? Yeah, it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
not-
go back.
So this, well, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done now. That'll be Calvin wants to go last, so
Okay.
I didn't know where I ended or where it began or.
That's what she said.
She always
Hold on, I
says
do
that.
have one more here. Hold on. This one right here, I traded for Calvin, and the reason I love this baby so much because he rode back from Orlando with me on my
Oh, yeah.
plane ride back from Orlando
It's a sweet figure too, man.
It is.
in my suitcase.
I'll be glad when he's back to full-time competition too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll hurry
I
up
love
here.
that guy. No, you
This,
take your
You
time.
don't got it. Take your time.
That's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
Right. That's why I just wanted to show some stuff that I've done with the guys, and and this here I had done. Me, Ben, Manuel went up to Evansville, and this is the program up there. It's signed by Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, Downtown Bruno, and Jimmy Valiant. We actually had a great time up there. It was pretty awesome. We got to hear Jamie Dundee go off on Scott Steiner for charging too much damn money. That was probably the damn best thing of the trip.
Yep.
So I got one more here.
And then also hog ass sandwiches.
Hog ass sandwich. I found that address. We going. We got to go get that. Okay, I picked this one because this is the first figure that I got signed in my very first Squared Circle.
Wow.
Ricky was there. Ricky's a big volunteer fan, so I got him to sign that one. I bought the figure from Will and Alive, and I got him to sign Go Balls.
Very cool.
That's beautiful.
So, okay. Let me go to- Okay, I'm back. All right, that's me.
Right.
Roger?
All right. So you'll have to give me the questions again, Kev, because
Yes, sir. Here, let me get my phone. Okay. What started your collection?
The collection itself started with my belts way back when. Back when I was a kid, of course, being here in Texas is just like being in the Memphis area. You grew up watching Memphis wrestling. Here, you grew up watching WCCW. So the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, all that was around here. Fabulous Ones, all those you watched around here growing up. And then later on, when I got older and I had my kids, then I got belts. And then I went from belts to a few pictures and then did pictures with when I got into TRC. And now my most of mine is pictures except for figures that they're already signed, or figures I want, like the BCC, Hulk Hogan's, Rey Mysterio's, the different figures that I've gotten throughout, just because to get the sets of figures. So that's where it went with me. And what was the last question, Kev?
It's what's your favorite thing to collect?
Other than trying to complete pictures that I have, get them completed if I can, getting my belt signed.
Yeah, your son says I remember all the belts.
Yeah. Getting my belt signed, with only the champions. I will only allow champions to sign the belt that they had or that they held.
That's awesome.
So
I never understood why people do that. Get other people to sign belts.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I have my version 2 undisputed that I went through and I just let anybody sign. But all my other belts are signed only by champions. So once it gets to a certain people that have signed it, or like for instance my globe belt for NWA, the only person that's gonna sign that, only person that's ever gonna sign that is Ric Flair, because that's the belt that you put next to him. Growing up, that's the belt he always had. So for me, once Will got that signed for me, that belt went up and got hung up, and that was it. That was the end of it.
And your trading cards.
Oh yeah, yes, and all my different trading cards I had at the time.
I love having him in here. We're finding out a lot about you.
Yeah, well, I didn't have a lot of. I had baseball and football and things like that. I didn't have wrestling because they didn't really have a lot of wrestling trading cards back then. But I had a lot of sports trading cards at the time. I had a lot.
All right, you want to go to some examples? You want to show some stuff?
Yeah, I got you. So a lot of different things are going to be from when we just came back from Squared Circle. Because to me, other than the gathering, that was probably the most fun at a wrestling convention I've ever had. And I was all over the place. You can ask anybody. But Jerry the King Lawler actually signed this book, and then he spent probably a good 5 minutes just going through it and looking at it. And he was asking, who did I get this from? Because he didn't recognize any of it, he said. But I let him look. I was like, look at it all you want to, sir. You go right ahead. I was like, I got it in one of our live sales. And he signed it and looked through it, and he was just in awe. And then I completed my Lex Luger and Bret the Hitman Hart picture.
Look at
that. Oh yeah,
that is beautiful.
Royal Rumble '94, baby.
Nice.
And then I had this, and I had to get it completed. I didn't care about the cost.
Beautiful.
Jerry the King and Bret. I had to get that completed.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful picture. A great moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. And both of them didn't have an issue solving in it, or were happy to sign it. And then I got to meet 123 Kid, and he signed all four of the different people, or 3 people for his different characters over the years.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So that one was a fun time meeting. And then I got this, I believe, from Will with Papa Shango. It may have been Ben with Papa Shango's signature on it. And I had Tatanka. Yeah, Tatanka finished it up. I never knew he called
Man,
himself
Richard.
the legend, WWE legend.
Yep.
He put that on everything he signed. And then I got this
I
one
guess they do
from.
that when they're not Hall of Famers, right? Most of them do it.
Well, he does that because he's under Legends contract.
Okay.
That's why he
Oh,
does
okay.
it. And if you ask him, he'll put Native American Tatanka instead of Legend. But he does the Legend on a lot of stuff.
Okay. Didn't know that. And then I got to meet Greg the Hammer Valentine again. A lot of you guys already know I met him when I was in Afghanistan back in 2007, I believe. May have been 2008. And he signed a picture for me at Charlotte and was very, very appreciative. And he remembered meeting me again. And he said he was just sitting there talking about how him and Ronnie Garvin used to beat the shit out of each other at different places.
Nice.
He's like, yeah, I'd beat the shit out of Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin beat the shit out of me.
Yep.
So he was very nice. At least to me, I know there's other people that haven't had such good episodes or meetings with him, but he was great when I met him. And then because I had to get this completed, I got
Yes,
it
sir.
from TRC Group, and I just had to get that completed because Kevin's already passed away. One Man Gang will pass away at some point,
Yeah.
and I had the opportunity, so I jumped on it to meet him and get him to sign it. Same as this one with Hacksaw.
Nice.
It's always great to get one complete.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I met somebody there. I can't remember her name. It's Maki something. I've seen her on AEW before, but she had a picture with her and Danhausen called Makihausen. So
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
met her, got her to sign it, and then I met Danhausen over there and got him to sign it. So that one was pretty cool to me because I know that Dr. Nick doesn't have it.
Nice. It's a lot
And,
more unique though. That's more unique. I like that.
Right.
yeah. And then my Hall of Fame, I got Lex Luger, Jim Ross, the King, and Coco Beware, and I'll be putting some more signatures on it later.
Nice. That is cool.
Yeah, I've got other stuff, but I'm gonna keep that for next week.
Okay.
All right, that's great stuff. And Richard Sutton said Tatanka is still one person he hasn't met. Tatanka's a cool guy to meet.
Tatanka's a good guy.
All right.
He is.
Yeah, he was a good guy to me.
You know, it's funny. We brought in Tatanka about 4 or 5 years ago to that Winston-Salem show, and he kept telling us to call him Chris. His first name is Chris. And the whole time we had him, I constantly referred to him as Tatanka. I don't know. Even with, like PCO, I kept calling him PCO and different things like that. Like I always referred to them as their wrestling names. I never, referred to them as their real name.
Yeah.
Even Barbarian and Warlord, like they all these guys tell us, my name is, Tom or Tim or Phil or whatever the hell. And I always referred to them as their wrestling character. I don't think I've ever called anybody by their actual name that I can think of,
I called Henry Godwin Henry Godwin's.
Yeah, I kept calling him Henry too. Yep, absolutely. So
All
and
right, Ben.
Phineas, when we did the Phineas
Did
deal, because we had ended up doing the private deal with Phineas because he couldn't make it to Indy, and the whole time I kept calling him Phineas, and he kept telling me what his name was, and I said, "Oh, yeah, okay," and then I just kept referring to him as Phineas. So
That's awesome.
I don't know.
All right, Ben, what started your collection?
All right. Well, I don't know why I froze. Okay, there we go. What started mine is growing up, always collected wrestling. First ones I can always remember would be the WWF Hasbro's or the Galoobs. First WWF one would have been $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and the Hulk Hogan, the Gorilla Press one. And then my first Galoobs is Sting. So I've always been a Hogan Sting fan. Then the older I got, played sports, kind of, still watch wrestling and all. Just kind of didn't really collect it until probably probably a year or two before COVID hit. Got back into because I was starting to get sports autographs, and now got back into wrestling. And what I started watching people doing lives on Facebook, doing like unboxing of figures, and they were doing unboxing of Hasbro's, and I fell in love then, and as like how I was as a child, and then started collecting Hasbro's. And in matter of fact, Will's probably one of the very first ones I bought an autograph from, because my idea was to have with each Hasbro to have an autograph with them. And then, of course, didn't realize a lot of them, the harder ones to find, they're expensive autos or they're passed on. So I kind of realized that, and then now all of a sudden, started. We did a Texas Tornado style live when TRC just first started, and asking if members want to do it. Did it, enjoyed it, and then like I said, ever since then, me and Will's been tag partners and doing lives every Tuesday or Sunday. Back then it was Sundays, doing now Tuesdays, and like I said, but yeah, as for me as a collector, I collect VHS tapes now, posters.
What's your favorite thing to collect?
The favorite is posters. That's hands down posters.
Yeah, they're addicting.
They are, and I got a lot that I have framed. I got a lot that does not, still roll in the tube, and I will be adding 2 new posters signed next week by John Cena, the WrestleMania 41 poster and the Bartlett poster. Looking forward to that. Probably my favorite poster is that I bought from Will, the NWO Bartlett poster. That's probably my favorite of all. But as for collection, I'm not at home, unfortunately. I come visit my parents at night with Marin, but matter of fact, Marin's gone. But what I'm going to show I'm a dad, and anymore that comes first. And I'm going to show something, Marin. This would actually be her. I got her a Chelsea figure. Was her first wrestling figure, and then the first ever. I never had them when I was a kid, but she got a the WWE Undisputed belt, and
nice.
I did a photo of that on Sunday, I believe, or Monday, and that
you done the outsider pose for her. That was awesome.
Yeah, the thing is this a real quick story about it. She's been begging me to get a belt, and of course she wants to have the women's belts. I'm like, Marion, they don't have the women's right now. It's just the men. But then again, as a kid, she wants everything, wants the belt. So then I was like, okay, if we see it again, I'll get it. And matter of fact, we were like in Nicholasville, and they only had one belt, and of course it was the one she really wanted. And I was like, okay, we're gonna, we'll get it. She was just so excited at the store to get it. And on the way home, which is probably about another 30-minute drive, she was just begging me to open it. Can I open it? I'm like, Marion, just wait till you get to the house. Wait. And then finally, once we got it to the house, she got in her little wrestling gear, and then she got her belt and was just walking around, holding it and wearing it. And so that was a proud dad moment. But that, like I said, that would have been a piece from her collection. And as for me, it's part of me too. So I'm excited for her. And but yeah, that's kind of my story about collecting.
All right. Well, I appreciate you and everything you shared. That was awesome. G.I. Shane.
Well, my son basically got
what
me into
started your collection? Yeah,
my son basically got me collecting all the wrestlers. I got into it with him, buying him figures from today's era. We started collecting a bunch of them, opening them up, and then I'm like, well, let me start buying some of the ones from my era, the guys that I liked. So I started buying those and putting them on his wall. And then, it was around COVID time. I ran into TRC, met all you guys, and then started buying autographs and building the collection with the Hasbros and the Lucy's and going, the hunt was always fun, going to Target and Walmart and Myers and seeing what you can find. And So that's what got me into the wrestling. The GI Joes, I've always been into it. I've always loved them ever since I was a little kid. It's been my favorite cartoon. Even, I remember when I got a job and I'd get a paycheck. I remember going to the store buying a GI Joe when I was 16, 17 years old. So
So
I've
is that
never
what's your
really.
favorite thing to collect? Would that be the GI Joes?
Yes, yes, and I would say action figures.
Awesome.
Um, uh, what I just recently got was these little mini belts.
Oh, I love them.
I thought
Nice.
these were pretty cool. I just picked those up.
I love the mini
Very
belts.
Um,
cool.
I grabbed this because this right here was my, one of my favorite guy. He's wrestler, GI Joe. This was the very first, I guess you could say, famous person probably that I've ever met. I got to go to a local toy store, stand in line, um, meet him, shake his hand, get pictures. He even personalized it with the red, the white, and the blue. Took his time. He didn't rush nobody through. It was awesome. This was my first piece that I've ever personally got signed. So this what I picked this one out. Um, what got us really into wrestling was Rey Mysterio.
Awesome.
Collecting all Rey Mysterio stuff. And it's my son's favorite wrestler, so this is what really got us into it. And then I,
Nice.
had to pick up,
Brother.
they said to start getting, ones from your era, so I had to, start scoring ones. And then one of my favorite wrestlers,
Oh
Bray
yeah.
Wyatt.
Right. That's beautiful.
So this is one of my favorite autographs, one of my favorite figures. So I wanted to show that. Um,
His first fiend figure too.
Hmm.
yeah. And then I grabbed this. I wanted to show this. I met Bobby in Squared Circle just recently. So I wanted to show this because this is one of the most recent pieces I've got for the collection. And when I was in Indy, I went to Tennessee to visit my parents, and just outside of Nashville, I went to a little local toy store, and I found this just outside of Nashville.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And so I
Beautiful.
picked that up for the GI Joe collection, and
Sweet.
Rip it.
yeah, I'll and that's all I got set out for now.
All right. I
Nice.
appreciate you so much. Great stuff. And
Thank
Colton, I wish they had a spinner belt, a mini spinner belt too, because if they did, I'd own it.
They had
But
a
I have
mini rated R spinner belt.
I ain't doing that shit. And we ain't talking about that bastard. Why'd you even bringing that shit up?
We know you
had to
love
We
bring
were
it
having a
Edge.
great damn show, and you had to bring up him.
We know you
Hey,
love Edge.
up.
Hey, Will, what got you collecting, brother?
Man, I'll tell you, I'll try to make it short and sweet, but 1991, Christmas 91, I got the original Hasbro ring under the Christmas tree. And I also got Hasbro Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the first one with the shears. I got Galoob Sid and Galoob Z-Man Tom Zink. Those were my first ones I had. And it was so cool. Like I had some Batmans and I had like Hot Wheels and stuff like that. But those are my first ones that I ever really got, and I actually got to keep, and they were mine. And I literally to this day still have that ring. I still have that Sid. I still have that Brutus. I still have that Z-Man Tom Zink figure to this day. And you know, going past that, the next biggest thing for me collecting wise was the magazines, because people today don't understand about going to the mailbox and having the magazine come monthly in the mail in your mailbox, and you never knew what day it was coming. We didn't have postal tracking back then like Amazon does, where it tells you it's coming, tomorrow at 10 o'clock or whatever. It was just
Right.
whenever it got there that month in the mail. So you went, usually knew around what day it would be there. So you'd start checking the mail every day, and finally you'd open the mailbox and your magazine would be in the mail. And it was so exciting. And then, of course, moving on years past that, looking back, because I have so many magazines originally from when I was a kid, like a lot of my stuff is from when I was a child. And then, of course, I
Gorgeous.
got into the autographs in 1996 is when I first started doing autographs.
Wow.
And then this right here is one of my very first, almost 30 years for me. This is one of
Legendary.
my very first famous or favorite covers right here. And of course, that one's still signed, and I love it. Not my favorite cover, but it's one of my favorite covers of all time. And then, just going on, there were so many great things that came out, so many great figures over the years and different things. Like in 1995, WCW came out with the LJN style figures. So shout out to Kev. Kev picked this up for me in Indianapolis. I literally had this figure as a kid and absolutely love it. I still have the NWO version of this one, the big rubber guy, but you know what we got to do, right?
Rip
You know what
Rip
we got to
it.
do.
Rip it.
So
Ripping.
it's a shame because it's a beautiful card. I
It
mean, it
is.
is a beautiful card,
It is a
and it
beautiful card.
probably needs autograph, but you know what we got to do. So
Right. Rip it.
It's Thursday night.
There you
There
go.
it is.
There
There
it is.
it is.
That's right, Miss Sarah. Rip it. Sarah, rip it. That's the greatest card. Look at him. Look at him.
This figure is 30 years old.
Look at that.
Look at that. This is a 30-year-old figure. Think about that. 3 decades old. Gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. And I
I
actually
even love
have,
that belt.
I do too. I have the Ric Flair that goes with this one, and I have the NWO Hollywood that goes with this one too. So he's going on the shelf. Beautiful collectible piece. So next question, favorite thing to collect? Man, it's so tough. There's so many great things, but I would say posters. I probably have more posters, than anything in the collection. And of course, I love getting, all kinds of like obscure stuff autographed, and there's so many different things. Another quick shout out to Ben. Actually picked up this series for me, and I picked it up in Indianapolis. You know what we got to do, right? Because I got to build
Rip it.
the build-a-figure gorilla. So,
Rip
I
it.
mean, I haven't got to rip anything in a few weeks.
Throw it. Throw it higher.
Right.
There we go.
Look at that. The Hitman,
Beautiful
baby.
figure.
My all-time favorite. The Hitman. My all-time favorite. And then, last but not least, I mean, I could go on just all night long. I could
Keep
take
going.
you guys on a museum-like tour, but one of my absolute favorite guys in the business, then, now, and forever. Absolutely love this guy. Creative comedy genius.
He's
R-Truth,
awesome.
baby. And when I had the opportunity to get this figure, I was like, you know what? You got to have an R-Truth. And, man, I love this guy. I know he's probably not going to win the belt on Saturday, but I think it'll still be a good match. So, R-Truth, he's got to come out of the box. You got to let him breathe,
Or
You
Rip
know how it
it.
is.
Rip it.
Woo. Woo.
Look at that. Look at that.
Awesome. Look, it's
That
so
is
much
beautiful.
better out the package.
I know.
That
Gotta love R-Truth. Such a good face game, too.
It is.
So, man, yeah, I haven't got to rip anything for a while, and I'm so far behind on so many figures and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I've truly enjoyed collecting. I love listening to Ben talk earlier about how TRC kind of got started and how he got started, and ain't seen nothing yet. We got a lot more to go. We're a week away from a huge show, and a lot of us are getting stuff signed next week. So can't wait to show that on our future live podcast here and show what we get done. So that's all I
That's
got.
right, Colton. R-Truth. Colton says R-Truth is our true champion.
He is a national treasure. He really
No,
is.
that's what is she, Kev? Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
she's a
R-Truth
national
That's a
treasure
national
too.
treasure.
Our truth is too, man. He is absolutely a national treasure. The guy is wonderful.
All right, King.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I went right after Will because that Hogan that he shared is one of my first figures I ever had.
Oh
That's what got
wow.
me started collecting was the figures, and I had pretty much that whole WCW those hard rubber figures. I had the Ric Flair, the Booker T, the Stevie Ray. Um, who else did I have? Uh,
Vader, Macho Man.
Vader. I had Vader for sure. I didn't have Macho Man. I had Vader.
Nasty boys, didn't it make some
I
nasties?
had the Nasty Boys. Yeah, yeah,
Harlem Heat.
yeah. I already said them. I had
Oh,
them.
my bad.
They already had
Oh, you
they
good?
had like 3 or 4 different versions of nasties, the colors of their shirts.
I had
Yeah,
the
they
black.
did.
The black.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that was the first thing I started collecting. This would have been like, I don't know, 95, 96. So the figures is the first thing that I really jumped into. I had a neighbor, and he gave me all his old loose figures, which was at the time those, I don't know exactly what they're called. They're about this big. I don't know. They're probably about 6 inches, and they're the WWF ones. Um, Boss Man, Undertaker, I
Hasbro's.
believe. Um,
Hasbro or Galoots?
I'm not sure. I know that Boss Man was one of my. I had him. He was wearing that the light blue shirt.
Right,
Uh,
and arms moved
The
up and
has
down.
his arms
the
moved up and
has
down. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
Hasbro's.
Okay. Yeah. So he gave me like a box of those. So I had a whole bunch of those, and I ended up passing it down to my little cousins, and we just kind of kept it going. But the figures is the first thing. Autographs, I really didn't get into until I started going to live shows. More independent autographs at first than major talent or anything like that. And then I discovered TRC and Squared Circle. And once I got to Squared Circle, I seen like the possibilities. I was like, okay, this is crazy. And then when I got to TRC, I was like, okay, now I got trustworthy people that I can buy from, and I don't have
Hell
to go
yeah.
to Indiana every, once a year just to make a purchase and something I trust. Because like I seen people doing the lives on Facebook and TikTok and things like that where they were selling it. I just don't trust it, especially back then. It was kind of not as common, at least not to me anyway. I'm used to like Home Shopping Network, which is another thing. Home Shopping Network, the T-shirts. I would buy a bunch of T-shirts and a lot of stuff off the Home Shopping Network and stuff like that. Um, so T-shirts is probably my second favorite collectible. And just to give a couple examples, I showed y'all this not that long ago. Bay got this for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
This right here.
Rip it.
I should. I can't get it completed, so I might as well rip it. Really.
That's
Yeah.
right. You're right.
It's
You're
just
Yeah.
the
right.
fact that it's
Might as
just so
well.
nicely put together. The black. This is my favorite faction of all time too. So, uh,
Rip it.
just a little bit of nostalgia there, and just to kind of tap into my figure collection that started me off. Let's see. Of course, my best pieces came from TRC. Got this Bret Hart.
Gorgeous.
It's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Just to get his autograph is crazy.
My favorite of all time.
So I definitely always going to appreciate TRC for getting me my first Hitman.
Hell yeah.
Stone Cold, another one of my favorites. Uh, again, TRC,
Beautiful.
You forgetting the goat? Where's the goat at?
he's right here.
No,
That
no,
ain't right.
no.
Yes, he is.
Got him.
Let's see. Most iconic promo for me.
You're
Another
right.
TRC classic right there.
Hell yeah.
Uh, those old school tag teams. I mean, I don't know if you can get much more beautiful than this right here. The TRC blue.
Oh yeah.
Very great right there. Let's see.
Here comes the axe. Here comes the smasher.
Yes, sir.
Just for you, Calvin,
There it is. There's the goat.
Yeah, just
Oh,
for you,
yeah.
Cal.
There's the goat.
The
That didn't look
TRC
like
blue.
John Cena.
Calvamania running wild.
Man. So yeah, I
I love
definitely
it.
very appreciative to meet you guys over the years, man. And
Yes, sir.
and
I'm glad to
become
have
part
you.
of the family. It's just crazy that something I grew up watching when I was a kid. It has those nostalgic type of feelings. So it's like I'm watching wrestling with my granddad still when I watch it, especially WCW. If I go back and watch old school WCW, that's kind of where my heart is. I like WWF, but really the Attitude Era specifically, and then that new gen with Razor and Brett, and uh, you know, that was a pretty good era right there too. But that WCW was something different. Man.
Yes,
Yeah, it
sir. It
was.
was.
That's all I got.
Sure.
All right. I appreciate you, brother.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Thank
hey, hey,
you for
real
talking.
quick, Phil.
Yeah.
What was like the very first time meeting us all? We got to go somewhere with Manuel, and we all were all together. And what did we do when we're all together? Where were we at?
We were at TRC. I mean, we were at
Horse
Squared
Cave, right?
Circle, and we went out to dinner with the Godwins.
Yep.
I didn't
Okay.
realize then, like where it would lead to, you know what I'm saying? But I just remember being hyped, like, how does Manuel know these people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
See, that's
but
something like, yeah, letting at the time, like I said, that was the first time we got to meet you, hang out with Manuel and you at the same time. And we're like, come on, y'all come eat dinner with us. And then at dinner of all, there's our guest, Mark
Yeah.
Canterbury, which is Henry Godwin. And that's always once in a lifetime. It's like with Kev, we're like, come on, Kev, you're going with us to our room. And who was in that
Right.
room? Lake Luger. So,
Yeah.
How about shitting my pants? I had no clue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was my first time actually sitting down and having dinner, probably with any celebrity that's not like, trying to think. I mean, I got a
Same.
couple cousins that went to the NFL, so I've had like a couple dinners there. But as far as like people I grew up watching on TV, really watching, like the Godwins, I remember the slot match with Triple H. That tag team, Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn, the Headbangers. I mean, that whole era right there was great tag team wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So it was definitely an
All
honor
right.
to be able to hang out with
Hey,
the
hey,
Godwins.
hey, Phil. Just for the record, it was Ben that made you and Manuel sit at the other end of the table.
Yeah, the other side down
Yeah,
there.
it was.
Hey, I was down
Always
there
say
with
that.
y'all.
But
Hey,
Colton says that
I
his goat that he's talking about is his Lord and Savior Hornswoggle.
Oh, wow.
oh good Lord.
That's what your son says, Roger.
He's adopted.
All right, Brian, what got you collecting, buddy?
All right, so what got me collecting was action figures, right? So obviously, when I was a kid, Hasbro's was my thing, and Macho Man was my
What's up,
first one.
Manuel?
It wasn't this one in particular, but this one's one of my favorite ones, and I know Will attest. But,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Possibly the number 1 or number 2 Hasbro ever made right there.
I mean, look at this thing. Fingers are still there.
Oh.
Yeah, Shane Myron was there. Shane was sitting with Manuel and Phil.
But then recently, Hastel Toys comes out with some, right?
Oh yeah.
That's wow.
Beautiful.
So I mean,
Oh,
literally,
Hey, Brian. I meant to ask you. Okay, right there on the Macho one on the black and gold. Now I seen where they made another one, like where he's like got the sleeveless without. Now that one in your hands, which one would you think, as your opinion, is better? That one in your hands or that one? Okay, yeah, because I've been debating on buying that, but
I don't like the sleeveless ones.
That other one doesn't have the tassels, doesn't have the hat. I mean, this thing's beautiful, right?
Sweet. So that one's that one's technically the entrance gear, and the other one's the ring gear, is what it is.
But then there's also another. This one took a little while to get, but
oh
yeah,
oh, I love it, love it.
One of my favorite figures.
And then obviously you can't not show those and not show these WWE retros, right? So this is one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, yep. Rip them, baby.
Yep. And then
really
and
rip
then obviously
it.
I'm surprised no one showed these, but WWE Superstars, right? I mean, who doesn't love these?
Oh yeah.
You got us into those.
I know.
Oh yeah.
So
what's your favorite thing to collect?
Probably, I'd say it's 50-50. It's right now it's really OG promos now, and then figures, and then obviously these guys too. I know some of you guys have these, but the big rubber guys.
Oh yeah.
Picked them up over Indie Weekend.
Beautiful. And then so obviously I collect promos, I collect autographs, right? But I really collect Hogan, anything Flair, Kane. So my favorite
Razor
Hogan
Ramon.
piece, my favorite
Razor Ramon.
Razor too, yes, Razor too. But my favorite Hogan piece is this.
Woo.
Look at
OG
that.
movie,
man.
OG movie promo.
That's
It's
nice.
hard. It's hard.
That's
You
awesome.
you probably won't ever see another one of those, honestly.
You won't.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
It's located here in Omaha, Nebraska.
I love
Nebraska.
that ripple.
New
And then I know a couple of you guys were at his last match, but I love this.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska.
That's a beautiful picture.
That's a nice one.
And then
And I
obviously,
think Brian, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only like 4 or 5 of those total that anybody's ever done.
and they're all here
Right.
in TRC.
Yeah, they're all here.
Yeah.
And then I love Kane, so I know Kev does too. But I got this from William. But man, look at that! It's got all his
That's a beautiful edit.
personas on there.
The history
That's
of Kane
dope.
right there.
And then one last thing. So I don't just collect. I also collect Masters of the Universe. And I got in this Hero. Oh shit!
Oh,
Oh,
no, it's not.
rip
No, it's
it.
not.
rip
But
it.
it's
Rip it
Metal
now.
Creations Hero, baby.
Man, that's awesome.
Nice. That is.
So and really, I collected figures right when I first started, but ever since I joined TRC is when I really got into collecting autographs. And I know I bought my very first autograph was from William. It was the Kane's debut, 11 by
Nice.
14. So, and ever since then it's been collecting nonstop. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Beautiful collection. Beautiful collection.
Yeah.
Man. And
Thank you.
we've
Yeah.
had so much fun. We've had so much fun together doing these shows and different things.
I want to add that Colton put in here. If I had to pick my actual all-time favorite, I'd have to go with Bray Wyatt. I just loved everything he did, and it sucks that they aren't doing anything with the Wyatt 6 lately. So,
See?
a big
I agree.
Bray fan.
That's my son.
Yeah, he's back now, right? After the Hornswoggle thing. Okay, now we go to
There.
Calvin.
Calvin. Yeah, thank you.
Roger, I can't believe you didn't show that wall.
I'm trying to now. I thought about it and I forgot about it. Kev, can you put it on me real quick?
And yeah, let me go to cancel this. Hold on. Let me find you. There he is.
That's the Bray wall. So every time everybody's in the TRC live and you hear something Bray goes up and I get it, that's where it goes.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's the
I
Bray
love that
wall.
belt. The belt's
Thank you
nice.
for showing that, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm going to the window. Okay, it's gonna have
I
mine
got
up
Bray right here.
there. You go. We're starting up backwards, but
Yeah, you're starting back. That's my favorite piece. Well,
okay, where we go.
We got a sneak
so
peek.
I don't really have a favorite piece besides the photo of me and Hogan, but there's all my Hogan.
Yeah,
That's
Calvin,
what I
what
collect. That's what I love to collect.
what started your collection, Calvin?
So I never knew the whole wrestling collecting thing, knew it was a thing, whatever. My dad passed away in 2020. I wanted to pay tribute to him. That's where it started.
Okay,
I
and your
don't
favorite
remember
thing to
how
collect
I
is
got involved with TRC, but I got involved with TRC and the Hogan autos started growing.
Nice.
and Hogan's your favorite thing to collect.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, tell me
How
when you
many-
want me to move on.
How many Hogans do you
All right.
have, Calvin?
Oh, I don't know if I had to guess, probably 20, 25.
Okay.
And,
Looky
and
there.
more and more coming.
Yeah, with more
Yeah.
coming.
And more coming.
Look at this. I love this picture.
I do too.
That's awesome.
Hey, one of the most
There's
underrated
some time
what-
figures over there that,
one of the most underrated pictures right there is that one right in the middle towards the top. That Bundy Hogan, man. That
Yep.
thing, I love that shot. Absolutely love that shot.
Yeah, that's
I'm
nice.
glad. I'm glad it went to Calvin because it's where it needs to be. I can tell you that.
It's a great match too.
Yeah.
and then that's I guess you could say my WrestleMania 3 wall,
Hell yeah.
basically. A little bit of NWO. The shirt right there in the frame, that was the first Christmas me and my wife were together, and she secretly went and got with a couple other people and got that for me.
That's great.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Signed by Hogan.
Okay.
And then I recently got that in. Been chasing that belt forever. Got a hell of a deal on it, so I snatched it.
I don't blame you.
Nice.
I'm sorry I went on and showed it, but I'll show it again for last.
And that right there, the centerpiece of my collection.
And I am proud to
Well,
say that
Yeah.
we were there with you.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a fun day. It was a really good day.
was.
A great moment.
It'll be a memory. I know it's a major memory for you, but I'll never forget it either, brother. So
Me neither.
Hey, and every time I get a chance that I can meet Hogan, you'll see my dad's urn in my hand.
Hell yeah.
and I'm sure I'll be right beside of you because I'm going to go meet him every time I can. Okay, that was all of them, right? Make sure I didn't miss any.
Yeah. That was
All right,
it.
Calvin, I'm
guys.
surprised. Calvin, I'm surprised you didn't show your really rare shirt from that tour when they
I
went
figured that would have
overseas.
been in that picture, but it wasn't. My wife done the pictures. Shout out to her for that. But I'll send Kev a picture and we can show it next week.
Yes, we
Nice.
can. You know, I enjoy this. Maybe we can do this once a month or something. We'll talk among each other, but I really love having a long period of talking about the items, you know, so we can get to know you guys and everybody else can get to know us more better and hear us explain our pieces. And I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
So,
fun.
all right, been a great show. Will, you want to take us home, brother?
Yeah, I will. Absolutely. So super excited to be back. Really glad to be back. Just the
Yes.
bonding time that we get to spend together. It's one thing being in the chat, you know, talking to each other. We all literally talk every single day. But you know, the idea of being able to get together like this, it's almost like we're all kind of sitting around the room talking and having a good time. You know, a couple things. Number one, we've got a big trip coming up next week, but kind of a surprise announcement for everybody. Ben and I are going to be running live this Monday night on Memorial Day. So we don't normally do that. We normally take all holidays off, but I know Ben and I have been discussing it, and we will be live this Monday night at 8 o'clock. So look for advertisements and event invites tomorrow. Of course, we won't be running Tuesday because of travel. Next week, we won't have a podcast because of travel, but we'll be back the following week to show all of our new goodies that we get next week in Dallas. So really excited about that. Plus, we get to go hang out with Roger. It'll be me, Ben, Kev, Roger, just running wild all over Dallas. We've already got a couple of places we're going to go hit up. I know there's a wrestling store out there that just joined our agenda today. So really excited about that. However, in closing, I will say, you know, Memorial Day weekend, guys, as much fun as it can be, you know, be safe, don't drink and drive, have fun, do all the good things you need to do. But also keep in mind, it's not about hot dogs and hamburgers, and it's not about drinking a beer by the grill and all that stuff. There's a reason we have Memorial Day. And I won't go into too much detail on it because I don't want to, you know, kind of bring down the mood of the room, but there's a very specific reason we have it. And, you know, enjoy your freedoms and definitely think about, you know, those that have been there before us that allowed us those freedoms. So, again, without not, you know, I don't want to go too far into it
Oh, no, well spoken.
and damper the mood, but enjoy your freedoms on Memorial Day and super excited. So again, be safe, have fun. We will see you. Ben and I will see you Monday night. Really looking forward to that. I know I've got a ton of new stuff that I need to show and a lot of stuff that's literally stacked up into the floor in front of the inventory shelves. So I got to show some of that stuff, get some of that out of here. And other than that, I really appreciate everybody being here and we'll see y'all very soon. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Thanks,
Peace.
everybody.